On today's Locked On Mavs, the finals, game one just happened. Chris Paul to the Mavs, question mark?
Let's talk about Copa semifinals.
And a day has been made and recognized for Luka Doncic in DFW. We'll talk about it today on Locked On Mavs.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
The Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Mavrello has brilliant idea.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and coordinator for the Locked On Podcast Network. And joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor at Mavs.com. The Luka Doncic Day, dude. The one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Well, congrats. I mean, yesterday was Luka Doncic Day in Dallas. Let's go.
The first ever Luka Doncic Day named in Dallas. According to the county commissioner's court, they said that the county will congratulate and acknowledge Doncic as, quote, an ambassador to the game of basketball. Do you want me to read some of the quotes? Because it's really interesting how they come up with this. Like, there has to be a whole order and like bill and all this stuff. Like the court had to bring this to the front, and then they had to, it will be known as Luka Doncic Day, whereas the Dallas Mavericks organization was established in 1980, bringing the first NBA franchise to Dallas County. On June 21st, 2018, the Mavericks traded for a 19-year-old Luka Doncic. And then they go through like his career in this whole, the actual draft of it. And it says, whereas today we honor the Slovenians' ability to unite a community, leading the Mavericks to the Southwest Division title and the team's second straight playoff appearance in 2021. Today, we recognize his other accomplishments in the NBA, blah, blah, blah. Rookie of the Year, first team All-NBA, All-NBA, blah, blah, blah. Doncic, all-time leader in triple-doubles for the Mavericks. Doncic carries an important role in the community, and we thank him for joining Mark Cuban and other team members in donating $1.25 million in February when the winter storm wiped out the county. But the interesting quote from this that I found is, whereas, much like fellow European Dirk Nowitzki landed in our great city 20 years ago, Doncic quickly became an adopted and adored North Texan, and he's on track to be right alongside Nowitzki in the history books. Ooh, what a statement there. That's an official, that's a law in Dallas. That statement is like already written in the law books for Dallas County.
Yeah, let's wait a little bit before we put him on Dirk's level.
They named it though. That's a law that he's right to be right alongside Nowitzki in the history books. He's on track to do that.
So if and not that we want to go down this route very much, but
no, we don't.
If Luka ever wears a different jersey, is this day like still there, or can they take back days? I don't
know if they can take back days. Because there's so many random national days, right? Like there's federal national days, like Strawberry Cheesecake Day. And you're like, why? Yeah. Why not just regular cheesecake? Why strawberry cheesecake? But yeah, so if you're very lost, by the way, the Dallas County Court said that July 6th is officially Luka Doncic Day in Dallas County and the surrounding area. A lot of people have questioned on Twitter and otherwise, why isn't it July 7th, which would be 7/7 on the date? That makes perfect sense. Why would they not do that? There hasn't been an official answer for that, but a lot of people have pointed to back in 2016 on July 7th, there was 5 officers who were killed in a shooting, and 12 officers were shot. 5 of them died in a shooting back on July 7th. And so I think they either have a day already recognizing that moment, or they are going to, or something like that. So that is why it's not July 7th. They wanted to keep that day separate. I believe that's what it is. Again, we're speculating on that, but that's what a lot of people have pointed out. So anyway, what are your thoughts on Luka Doncic Day? I mean, should we be excited about this? A couple people were in my mention saying, well, it's too early. What has he done? Somebody said, has he actually accomplished anything? And I was like, what do you mean, has he accomplished anything?
Well, he's definitely accomplished.
Right.
He's definitely accomplished something. I mean, 2 All-NBA like first team in your first 3 seasons definitely accomplishing something. I just don't care. Like I don't care about people who get days because I mean, I'm sorry, but like every July 6th from this point on, I'm not going to wake up that morning and be like, it's Luka Doncic day. Like, I got to put on my jersey. I got like Roman, put on your jersey. Like, let's celebrate. I don't know. Like in my heart,
Guess what? Guess what day it is?
in my heart, every
You're not going
day
to wake
is
up
Luka
and think,
Doncic day.
Guess what
That's
day
not what
it
I'm asking.
okay, here's my thing about this.
I just don't care.
Like, yes, 7-7, but like July 7th or July 6th was when it'll be. When the NBA schedule goes back to normal, this will be a dead period. This will be like right after free agency, right? Like just right in the middle of free agency. Luka's going to be far gone. He's going to be like, is Luka ever going to be in Dallas on Luka Doncic Day? Because it's going to be off season. He's going to be off season and he'll be gone. He'll be back in Slovenia or wherever playing internationally. Like he's never going to be here on that day. Why not make it a day where he could potentially be here?
I mean, I guess so, but like, what do you want him to do? Do you want to like? Do we want a parade?
Cut a ribbon? I don't know. Show up.
I just don't know what we'd want.
It's
him to
Luka
do
Doncic Day on a day when he probably won't be in the country, let alone the county.
Probably, yeah.
That's what's weird to me.
But honestly, it's like it's not like he's gonna get any special privilege they wouldn't get any other day in Dallas. Like,
wait, what if you get a day named after you? It's a purge day for you. You can do like whatever you want. He's like speeding up and down 35.
He's Googling Kane Fitzgerald.
If it's at what jurisdiction does Dallas County Police that? But Clay Jenkins, county judge, I don't know who that is, but that's the person that recommended this and decided that this would be the day. So, and it's a resolution. It's
just moved back to Dallas, by the way, so he will know who Clay Jenkins is soon.
Eventually. Wait, am I supposed to?
Well, like he's a figure in Dallas.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Isaac fakingly knows who he is.
No.
Did you vote for him? Do we vote for him?
I know him like in the public figure. I don't know him like personally.
No. Yeah, I haven't lived here in a while, so I don't know him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Luka Doncic Day official. Let us know in the comments and on Twitter. What are you going to do for Luka Doncic Day? You have to wait a whole 364 days until Luka Doncic. Like, why couldn't they do this a month ahead of time, right? Like, they had to do it the day after it was done.
What would we do, though? Like, I just don't understand what these days mean. Like, why do they matter? Like, it's cool. Like, I'm glad you have a day, but I just don't, like, I don't go out of my way to, like, I don't know. It's cool. I'm glad Dallas did.
Guess what day it is?
The only thing about it that makes me happy is if Luka's chilling somewhere in Slovenia right now and he saw that come across his phone and it's like, man, you know what? The city really does love me. And it's like another little great nugget into his heart of how much he likes the city, then it's all worth it.
Conspiracy time. Mark Cuban went to the courts and said, hey, can we make Luka Doncic stay to try and convince him to stay?
Hey, all the little things count, you know?
Especially
rock some jerseys that look like Real Madrid.
Especially because it's around free agency time. 3D chess. They're playing 3D chess. They're putting Luka Doncic Day around free agency day so that he doesn't leave. He can't leave Dallas on Luka Doncic Day and go sign somewhere else. He just can't.
Next month.
We figured
August 6th, Kawhi Leonard Day in Dallas. We named it.
Do they have a Kawhi Leonard Day in LA or San Diego where he's from?
Probably not.
What about Toronto?
Will they even retire his jersey?
Or San Antonio? Do they have one?
This is the weirdest first segment we've ever had.
That is absolutely not true. We have done this way too long for this to be the weirdest segment we've ever done.
You literally texted me and said, all right, I want to mention Luka Doncic Day. I'm like, all right, cool. and we're almost at 10 minutes at it of this thing that literally doesn't matter at all. I just want to know, like, is there somebody out there that really jumped for joy about this?
Yeah,
event,
right.
That really freaked out and Yeah.
I think it's cool. It's cool to honor him, but you're right. It doesn't do anything. Like, what's the function of this? It's fashion over function, I guess.
Yeah, like I don't even know. Like if it changed something about like our lives, like hey, everybody can drive 77 on the
It'll change the amount of social media posts we make about Luka from like 5 a day to like 20 a day this day, right? Like,
yes. I like road signs. Like I love when they rename the street.
yeah,
Like
driving down Nowitzki Way was really cool when I came
really
back.
cool ceremony. Like every bit of that is cool. So I don't have this on my calendar. Will this be built into my like calendar on my iPhone that I'll get a notification? Luka Doncic Day tomorrow.
Next time I go to your house, I'm gonna put it in there. Driving on Nowitzki Way was really cool when I moved back. Driving on Carlisle Road was not as cool. There is a Carlisle Road in downtown. All right, coming up, let's get into the finals and Chris Paul.
Let's talk about an ad.
We'll talk about Chris Paul. We'll talk about the fit and what could a Chris Paul type figure do for the Dallas Mavericks, what he has done for the Suns. We'll talk about the finals too. We have to. It was game 1, so we'll get into that. But before we do, this episode is brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Download the app and join us this week to get in on the action. Spotify Green Room, changing the way we talk sports. It's the perfect place to start or join conversations about the NBA, the NFL, anything really. You open the app and there's just conversations being had all the time, I think, about almost anything. Right now, there's a finals group right now. There's all kinds of random talk. That's a group chilling and talking hoops. There's conversations about Rachel Nichols if you want to join those. I personally do not want to join those. Suns take game 1. All kinds of different conversations happening on Spotify Green Room. You can go there. You have a chance to talk with us and talk to us about Mavs stuff. I'm sure we'll be doing a bunch around free agency and all that. Go download the Green Room app right now, available on iOS devices. Create a profile, link your Twitter, follow me. I'm at Nick Van Exit. You'll be notified whenever we go live. Don't want you to miss it. Can't wait to hear everybody's thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks and insert other free agent that they will get and probably not get. See you there. Green Room, changing the way we talk sports. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into the finals and talk about game 1. The Suns got out to a scorching game 1 lead. I think they really put the foot on the neck, or put the whatever skin Wade says. They just absolutely put it to the Bucks, especially in that third quarter. They outscored them 35-27, and Giannis played in this game. It was kind of surprising that he did. Played 35 minutes. He was a +1 in a game that they lost by 13.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to play, and I was surprised. I mean, it shows you just the type of player and competitor that he is. I thought he looked okay. I think it was clearly not 100%, but
he had 17 boards in this game. Like, he was getting boards. He was out there. Like, yeah, he did look okay. The one run they really had was when they put him at the 5. Like, Brook Lopez scored. He had 17 points. I think all of them were in the first half, possibly. A lot of them. First half and third quarter. Like, Brook Lopez scored a bunch of points. And then they just took Brook Lopez off because he was killing them on defense. They went to Giannis at the 5, and that's where they're going to have to go, I think, is Giannis at the 5. But for him to play at the 5, he has to be able to move laterally, and he just wasn't doing that a lot on defense, and that really hurt them. And then they have to figure out their offense. They don't really have that extra guy. Like, DiVincenzo, I think, would have been kind of big in this series to have that just extra guy to be able to play in a small-ish lineup with Giannis at the 5.
Yeah, because they're throwing out, a lot of Connaughton tonight.
A lot of Connaughton.
28 minutes. That's a lot for that guy. Bryn Forbes.
He was okay. Like, he wasn't that bad.
No.
Like, you just want somebody better than that. And
exactly. Yeah.
There was a whole Jeff Teague quarter. He played 9 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, for Milwaukee, it came down to Drew Holiday tonight. He didn't have a very good game. I mean, what he finished with? He finished with 10 points, 4-14 from the field. So that was Milwaukee's thing. But I want to focus on Phoenix because we'll talk more about Chris Paul in a little bit. But some of these guys that we have liked for so long, like I love Mikal Bridges, and it's not, he shot 5 or 13 for the field. But
did we draft him in a locked on mock? I felt like we did.
Possibly.
Now there's been too many. There's been 4, almost 5 now that we've done.
I just remember we had him so high on our draft board that we were getting pushback on people because I'm pretty sure that I was saying that would take him like over Ayton, over Jaren Jackson Jr.
It was because of fit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fit because of fit. And then I loved everything about Mikal Bridges. But DeAndre Ayton, like, I love watching him play basketball.
Yeah.
I love that he's a big that I have this weird soft spot for like bigs in the NBA because for so long it was just, hey, how can we get smaller and play faster and everything? So I love seeing Embiid, Jokic, these guys really succeed, and I want to see them make deep playoff runs. So to see DeAndre Ayton as this like new guy, the new 7-footer, and just how it works in Phoenix that he's playing with Chris Paul. My mind also goes to like, what if he didn't have Chris Paul? Like, would he be?
I bet he thinks about that too.
Yeah, I mean, he always said, he's like, Chris Paul's the best thing that happened to me, blah, 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 blah. And I think that might change some franchises moving forward too of, man, like if we are going to draft a big out there, like a young big, it might be better for our team long term to go out if we don't have a point guard already that can run a pick and roll and run the offense like a Chris Paul. I'm saying like Chris Paul, but Chris Paul's in his own like category of that. But like to make his life easier and to help his transition to the league, because watching Ayton tonight, I mean, he pulled down 19 rebounds, 22 points. He does. Van Gundy, I thought, said it perfect in the second half. He said he does the 3 R's very well. Now I can't even remember. I feel like it watching.
Rinse, repeat, recycle. Was it? Reduce, reuse, like recycle.
Run, roll, and
rebound.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, run, roll, rebound, and he does all of them so well. And it's like you look at that and say, all right, well, we had Dwight Powell. He does that well. It's like, okay, but DeAndre Ayton can hold his ground. DeAndre Ayton is bigger, and and he rebounds. Like Dwight Powell's not as good of a rebounder as Dwight can roll like him. He runs like a DeAndre Ayton, but he can't. He doesn't have that size. And for what Ayton's doing at his size, I think is really, really impressive.
What Ayton is doing is some of the things we want Porzingis to be doing too. Like when Porzingis is rebounding, the Mavericks are a better team. When he's getting like 10 boards a game, he's not getting 8 and like 20 boards a game, but when he gets 10 boards a game, Mavericks are a different team. I was looking back at some of the point guards that they've had through Ayton's career. Like they kept trying to do this. They kept trying to get a point guard like a Chris Paul or just somebody that would be like his rookie year. He was playing with DeAnthony Melton and like, who was this other point? I guess
Rubio?
The other point guard would be like Tyler Johnson. No, Rubio was his second year. So they brought in Rubio that second year. They were like, okay, we need to get a point guard, like a veteran point guard to play with this guy. So then they brought in Rubio that next year. And then this year they brought in Chris Paul. They just kept realizing what they need, which sort of feels like the secondary creator that we kept talking about with Luka. You need to have that guy next to Luka to kind of unlock some other stuff. Yeah, and the Mavs haven't been able to do that, and so hopefully eventually they'll get that, or even the backcourt like defender that they kept trying to do with DeLon Wright and Josh Richardson, like keep trying to.
And they also put 4 shooters around him too. I mean,
yeah,
all 4 of those guys. I mean, Jay Crowder's streaky, but Mikal Bridges, Booker, Chris Paul, Crowder, like these are 4 guys who can shoot 3. They don't have another guy on the floor that's clogging up the paint, and like it allows Ayton to have space. So very important.
Made me think a lot about the team building aspect of these teams too, because it felt like the Bucks were built to be this elite defensive team with a couple of good offensive players, right? Like Giannis, good offensive player, but limited in a half-court setting. Chris Middleton, good offensive player. I guess he's their half-court guy. And then Drew Holiday, good offensive player. They don't have these elite creators like a Luka, Chris Paul, LeBron, James Harden, and like even a Kevin Durant shot maker type. Like Middleton is their best shot maker, I guess. They tried to build this team on defense. They went and got PJ Tucker. They kept Brook Lopez, even though he's kind of become back. He's morphed back into that scorer that he was. But he was a defensive player of the year candidate. They got they had DiVincenzo. They brought in Drew Holiday. Like they tried to become this elite defensive team, and you just have to have 2 elite offensive players, like 2 all NBA level offensive players on your team to win a title. I think you just have to have that. Now maybe the Bucks come back and they win this and they prove me wrong on that, but unless you're a very specific like Detroit Pistons team from 04, which probably will never happen again, you have to have at least two elite offensive players, I think.
Well, yeah. Well, I think their pushback on that say, hey, we have two of them in Giannis and Middleton.
No, they're not. You got it. They have to
But-
be all NBA
I think-
level. Like,
Well, I think they are all NBA level. I think it's recrafting
no,
that
Middleton's
sentence.
not all NBA level.
Okay.
If you want to just, I'm talking about just an
See, I
offensive
thought you
player.
were talking about Giannis. I thought you weren't including Giannis in that.
No, Giannis is not.
Because Middleton, who's getting the ball at the end of the games, he can get buckets. Giannis can't. He struggles at the end. They're great. I think you have to have two guys who can create their shot and go get buckets on their own. That's how
what I'm
I
saying. I'm just putting it in a different term.
Yeah, well, that's how because I think they're both like really great all NBA type of offensive players. They get their points. They have the averages on that. It's just Giannis still struggles in that area that I think you almost have to have. I mean, you look at Phoenix, they can kind of alternate that with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And I mean, DeAndre Ayton was a first overall pick, and he's the third best player on their team. It's kind of wild to think about. But like, what if you swapped Drew Holiday and Kyrie right now?
Yeah, it'd be totally different. Series
for both teams. I mean, Drew probably would fit the Nets better with Harden and KD. But like, what would Kyrie in that spot? With Middleton, with Giannis, it would just give that whole offense a different look. And when Drew's not on, like he was tonight, then it feels even more pressure on. And when Giannis, kind of struggles in creating his own shot, it's like everything is on Middleton, which is crazy because we had the Middleton conversation because I think he has proved a lot of us wrong, including myself, on how good he is. But yeah, we both picked the Suns, right? I mean,
yeah, Suns in 6.
Yeah.
Before the series, yeah.
Maybe 5.
Man, if they're playing like this tonight, Suns in 4. That guy that beat up that other guy might be right about.
I forgot about that guy.
Have you seen that guy? That guy is literally, he's on TikTok selling autographs.
Wow.
There's a video going on Twitter right now.
I saw an action figure of this guy too.
No, stop. Come on. Action figure. Coming up, we're going to get into Chris Paul, talk about him. Don't think it's a possibility with the Mavericks, but what could a player like Chris Paul mean for the Dallas Mavericks, and where can they find one? We'll get into that. But before we do, I got to tell you about Built Bar. Built Bar is a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, and right now, you can go get the Grasshopper Cookie Bar on BuiltBar.com. They are absolutely delicious. I love them. They have a little bit of a mint, little bit of a crunch there, a little bit of chewiness, and they're just really, really good. All the other bars are still available right now. I have a package hopefully coming soon. Built Bar, send my bars soon. Strawberry, orange, and mint brownie. That's the box that I put together. I'm interested to try the strawberry. The mint brownie is the OG. That one's the one that just keeps giving every single time. It's really great every time. 130 calories. It has 17 grams of protein, only 2.5 grams of fat, and only a couple of grams of carbs. And then it has just 4 grams of sugar for a bar with 100% chocolate. They're absolutely delicious. Go get you some. BuiltBar.com or Built.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your first order and every order after that at BuiltBar.com. Also want to tell you about betonline.ag. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to put down some money on sports, to bet, to wager, to say, hey, what if the over-under of game 1 was 218.5 and you went with Isaac Harris and took the over on that? You'd be winning some money today. Put down a couple bucks and you would have won a couple bucks.
I went with the under, though.
Oh, you did? No, I talked you into it. Your initial thought was to not. Okay, game 2. This is coming up on Thursday, the over-under. 221. Ooh, that one's a little interesting. 221, they upped it from game 1. Not much, though. I think I'd still go over on this. I think I'll go over on this one. 221, the combined score of both teams in game 2. The Suns are still a 5.5-point favorite for game 2, which, by the way, they were 5.5-point favorite for game 1. They won that one by 5.5, so they covered that. And so you can go, if you have a feeling about either of these teams, go to betonline.ag, use the promo code LOCKEDON, get a 50% welcome bonus, your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook expert. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into Chris Paul. Let's talk about him. He could be a free agent this offseason. It seems unlikely that he would leave a team where he's in the finals right now. Maybe they collapse and lose, and Robert Sarver has some kind of thing where he doesn't want to sign Chris Paul. But what kind of scenarios could you see where the Mavs get Chris Paul or a guy like him?
Well, yeah, I think everybody expects him to be back with Phoenix. You're like, why would they let him go? But 1, it's Sarver. You never know with Sarver. 2, we don't know exactly how much money Chris wants. And he has a player option for $44 million, which is crazy to think about. Even crazier if you go back. It's even crazier if you go back like 2 years, and the fact that Houston had to attach picks to get off of his contract and all of that stuff. Like it's mind-boggling to think about that. And now he's like completely flipped his value for his contract. So
he was traded by the Rockets for a 2021 first round pick and a 2024 first round pick to the Thunder, like for Russell Westbrook.
yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy.
So for Chris, if he's looking at it saying, all right, my value is the highest it could possibly be right now, I'm going to opt out of the 44 million because I want a 2 to 3 year deal.
Yeah.
So let's just say Chris Paul says, I want a 3-year deal right now. I'm 36. That'll take me to age 39, but I want it in that. I'll opt out of 44 if I can get like 3 years, 40 million a year, something like that. 3 years, 35. Well, if Sarver's looking at it saying, well, crap, I don't know if I want to be paying you $40 million whenever you're 39 years old. Do they have tension? Is there some tension there? Is there another team out there that says, hey, if the Suns won't give you 3 years, 35 million or 3 years, 40 million, we'll give it to you. If there's a team that's wanting a veteran playmaker on the team saying, hey, we're a Chris Paul move away too from being the Phoenix of 2022. So I guess my biggest question is, if I don't see that scenario playing out, but if it did, and Chris Paul says, all right, he talks to his agent, is there another team out there that would give me that money? Should Dallas make the call?
Man, it's hard to say no right now, the way he's playing and the way he's looked this season, the way he's sort of come back from, the depths, I guess, or just the little slump he had at the end of the Rockets tenure there, where that trade didn't seem that crazy. It did seem crazy a little bit, but not insanely crazy where they would have to attach picks to Chris Paul. But now he's been an all-star the 2 years since then. He's been all NBA. He's now taken his team to the finals. It would be really hard to try and turn that down, but you really think like, man, small guards, they don't age well. He's already aging well. It's like, this is already him. Like, how much is he going to fall off a cliff? And what do you have to do? He would have to do less with the Mavericks too. He wouldn't have to do as much even as he's doing with the Suns. I mean, I think he would have to do less ball handling and less.
I don't know, but you get him because you want him to play a similar type of role.
For sure, but I mean, you start looking at his usage percentage and compare that to Luka. His usage percentage this past year was 22, which I guess is probably good. Would he have to do the same defensively? I don't like. It depends. Like you try to, you would try to limit him. But let's just say the amount of minutes, the amount of minutes he would have to play. He played 31 minutes this past year. Could he play less? Could he? He can handle the ball a little bit less. He play off the ball. I don't know. All that. Anyway,
you can play less when you have all NBA campaign behind you.
He hit a 3 tonight, and then I saw somebody tweet, he's got a little bit of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist in his shot. And I was like, oh, dang.
Oh.
It's like he made that 3. I don't know if did you know he just made that 3?
Campaign's still in the league.
I just rambled about Chris Paul with the Mavericks in this situation, but obviously I think you would say yes, right? I think you go for that. You get that guy, you bring him in, and then you hope for the sake of getting Chris Paul to get to KP the same way he got to Ayton, right? Like if there's any way that he could get to Kristaps Porzingis in the same way he got to Ayton, then it's worth that whole contract to me.
If you're telling me the Mavericks signed Chris Paul for 3 years, $120 million this offseason, that would scare the crap out of me.
For sure.
Like,
but at least he's proven now he's still good. It's not like he's coming off of a major injury.
The fact that he's 2 years out of, some people thinking that, like, is he done? Like the Houston stuff and all of that. He rebuilds the image in OKC. He has this incredible season in Phoenix.
But now doesn't that seem like an outlier? Like the end of the Houston run seems more like an outlier. By the way, the Houston run was 2 seasons. It wasn't like that long, but the end of that run in Houston seems more like the outlier than the fact that like he was trending down.
True. Yeah, I think you can see it either way, but you can also look at it this way and say, all right, well, he's getting older. So
that's true.
It's just the whole thing of like next year paying 37-year-old Chris Paul, which I mean, I'm eating my words on the Chris Paul thing anyway, because I didn't think Nick was higher on Phoenix and Chris Paul being what he's doing right now for the Suns than I was. I was like, okay, well, great season OKC, but I was very skeptical that he could stay healthy and everything and do what he's doing this year. And he did it. And they're probably going to win the finals. And that's awesome.
It's the veggies, man. It's the veggies.
It's the plant diet. So I don't honestly don't know. I think I would lean no. I think I would lean no on it.
For 3 years, you wouldn't do it.
For
3 years max deal.
3 years, like paying $40 million to a 39-year-old Chris Paul scares the crap out of me whenever like that you're on the brink of like Luka, like getting closer to the end of that contract. And
there's a couple people probably saying, Isaac, you're crazy, but you have to also think he's one ACL injury away from $40 million of dead contract on your books too, right? And so you have to be pretty sure about these guys that are making that amount of money, because think about how many other players you could pay with $40 million. You could pay for KP and then someone else, right? Like, and then a $10 million player on top of that, right? So there's a lot you can do with $40 million. That's, I guess right now that's like 35% of your salary cap. Like that's a big chunk. And if you lose that guy, especially when he's getting older and all that, it's just a huge risk in that department.
I mean, him, Luka, and KP would be over 100 million. And that's not including that's 3 players over 100 million. It's not including the rest of your roster. Just to sign him at 40 million this offseason would be saying bye to Tim Hardaway, saying, hoping Josh Richardson, opts out at that point. You'd have to make another trade to create that 40 million. So that's once again, we don't think he's going anywhere. He's going to be back in Phoenix. He probably retires in Phoenix, but that's just something I'm like, dang, man, I don't know. If there's other scenarios, like I would love him on this Mavericks team. I think he would do wonders next to Luka, but a 3-year commitment to Chris Paul getting close to 40 would scare me.
And you kind of look at like how this Suns team was created. Like I'm sharing the salary cap sheet here on YouTube. This is the second year, but you have like Chris Paul and Devin Booker making max, Ayton making a number 1 pick money, and then everybody else like
Ayton's got to get his Luka extension too.
Oh, for sure. But everyone else is on maybe not a Luka extension, but he's gonna get a lot. But everyone else is on rookie deals. Like all these guys, the only guy that's really not is Jay Crowder, who got that mid-level from them. Everyone else is on rookie deals. So you have to hit on those, and the Mavericks just haven't, right? You can go back in their draft history. They haven't hit in the way that this Phoenix team does. They haven't had as many high draft picks as this Phoenix Suns team has had recently, which makes sense. The Mavericks haven't been as bad for as long, but they also haven't hit on their draft picks that they did have. So that's why this works. It would be really hard to the Mavericks would be better. Obviously, we would want Chris Paul as the player for sure. But it's interesting to try and put it together with the amount of money he'd be making.
Yeah, because they're going to be in a similar spot in 2022 that, Chris Paul's probably going to be making around 40. So then you're at 73 with him and Booker. And Ayton's extension is going to give him at least probably 2025. I don't have the numbers in front of you. So like you're pushing the 100 million mark with those 3 right there, which I mean, that's a really good 3. But yeah. We'll see.
There you go. Let us know in the comments. What are you going to do on Luka Doncic Day next year? What do you think about Chris Paul in the finals? Who do you have to win? Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.